first at 9.
Very good evening to you and welcome to Primetime News on MTV Sports, live from the News First Centre in Colombo. I'm Nadim Majid.
I'm Stephanie Lazarus. Before we go into your stories in detail, let's take a look at the headlines.
The headlines on News First at 9.
Vignesh to be sworn in as Chief Minister of the Northern Province on the 7th before the President. A statement from the TNA. Western Provincial Council polls in April next year. Coordination Office of the UPFA in Putlam attacked. Protest march demanding the UNP leadership to step down to begin tomorrow.
News First at 9.
On to those stories in detail. The United People's Freedom Alliance convened a media briefing today. Let's take a look at some of the views expressed at this media briefing.
එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂය සිය දේශපාලන ඉතිහාසයේ තුල ඉතාමත්ම බරපතල මහා ඛේදවාචකයකට අද පත්.
Today, the United National Party is mired in the deepest controversy in its political history. I do not think the UNP has faced a situation like this ever in the history of this country. It is not only an external defeat, internally as well. There is a serious political crisis and disharmony which is bringing the UNP defeat and is causing it to explode. There is a riot against the leadership, a struggle or a challenge within the party itself. From today, those who are from the party and are opposed to the leadership are staging a protest march. Although there were breakaways in the higher echelons of our party, and even though there were divisions among the party leadership, the rural people and SLFP supporters did not abandon the party between 1979 and 1994.
අපේ ග්‍රාමීය මට්ටමේ ඉන්න ජනතාව පාක්ෂිකයෝ පක්ෂය හැරදාලා ගියේ නැහැ. මේ තීන්දුව తీරන ගත්තේ විශේෂයෙන්ම ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂය සහ එක්සත් ජනතා නිදහස් සන්ධානයේ අපි මණ්ඩලයක් විදිහට වාඩිලා.
These decisions were taken with the SLFP and UPFA sitting together in a council. Now they will receive positions in the party, not ministerial portfolios, but positions like organizers, chairpersons and vice chairpersons. They too will receive such positions. As far as we see it, no one has been treated unjustly.
නෑ කොහෙම හිතන්නේ. මොකක්ද ඒක පොඩක් ඉන්න කියනවා ඔය පැහැදිලිව පිළිතුරක් දෙනවා නම්.
No, not in any way. If I am to give a clear answer, after any election that we have contested as an alliance, when nomination papers are signed, candidates must sign an affidavit. I can show you if you wish. I have these affidavits. In the affidavits, they say that they will function in accordance with the constitution of the UPFA and the decisions of the UPFA for as long as they are candidates or representatives. Therefore, the problem that you mentioned does not arise. Both these young representatives did not even make a request from us asking to be appointed to a certain position. This is very important news to us, what you have just mentioned. We did not even know that they had met or what the result of the discussion was. Incidentally, Minister Susil Premjanta also said at this media briefing that elections for the Western Provincial Council will be held before the 22nd of April next year.
The leader of the TNA parliamentary group, R. Samanthan, and President Mahinda Rajapaksa engaged in a special meeting this morning. This meeting was held this morning at the President's house. Secretary to the President, Lalit Veeratunga, was also present at the occasion.
TNA media spokesperson Suresh Premachandran said today that former Supreme Court Justice C.V. Vigneswaran will be sworn in as the Chief Minister of the Northern Province on Monday.
He made this statement during a media briefing convened at the party office in Colombo this afternoon.
If all goes according to plan, then on Monday morning the new Chief Minister is prepared to take oaths at the President's house. On the 11th, the other councillors will be sworn in before the party leader Sambandhan and Chief Minister C.V. Vigneswaran.
வேறு மாற்றங்கள் ஏதும் இல்லாவிட்டால் இது நடைமுறைக்கு வரும். මම හිතන්නේ සඳුදා උදේ තමයි අපේ දෙවුරුම මේ ජනාධිපතිතුමා ඉදිරියේ ගන්න තියෙන්නේ. ඒක ගැන තාම
I believe that I will take oaths before the President on Monday morning. I cannot say this with certainty as yet. We discussed numerous matters today. We discussed when the swearing in should be held and other matters this morning. We discussed which ministerial portfolios will be given to whom. There are no problems there. There are 4 or 5 parties. Today we spoke about how we could grant portfolios so that each party would be represented. We will take a final decision tomorrow. I think since there is no haste, we are taking our time.
මම හිතන්නේ හෙට තීරණයකට බහිනවා කියලා. ඉතින් මේකේ මොකුත් හදිස්සියක් නැති නිසා අපි ඉතින් හැමින් කරාගෙන යනවා.
We discussed numerous matters. We discussed how the Provincial Council should function. We discussed the granting of ministerial portfolios. We discussed the functions of each of the ministers and other matters. We discussed what each of the ministers should be responsible for, how duties would be delegated. We discussed the swearing in of the Chief Minister and other ministers. We will discuss all of this and take decisions which should benefit the people.
Journalists also questioned the TNA parliamentary group leader on his meeting with the president this morning.
Yes, I did meet with the president and we held discussions. It was the secretary to the president who invited me for this meeting. I met with the president because of this invitation. We discussed certain important matters. There may be discussions with the president in the future as well.
Well, taking a look at some other issues that were brought up at the media briefing convened by the UPFA today, journalists also raised questions regarding a group of supporters who staged reports that a group of supporters staged a demonstration in Kandy over the non-granting of any ministerial portfolios to Central Provincial Councillor Anuradha Jayaratne.
Let's now take a look at the responses to these questions.
I spoke to him and asked him about what happened yesterday. I told him that there were newspaper reports that he, his son and others were going on marches. He said nothing of the sort happened. He told me that when they were heading to Kandy from Colombo, people had gathered in Kadugannawa to welcome them. He told me that he waved at them and moved on. People chant various things, but no one goes beyond the word of the president. He said we only encouraged the youth who were there and did not express any displeasure, nor did his son. We do not have any issues in our party. We stand by the decisions taken by the party, even if there are disagreements. Central Provincial Councillor Anuradha Jayaratne convened a media briefing today. There were a number of events to welcome us in Gampala and Kandy. They are criticizing these events. I wish to state that we are for the decision taken by the President and the Central Committee. It is because of him that we were able to achieve victory.
Time now for the newspaper cartoon of the day.
On to more local news. The chief ministers of the central and northwestern provinces, Sarath Ekanayake and Dayasri Jayasekara, called on the chief prelate of the Malwatu chapter of the Siam sect, the most venerable Tibbatuawe Sri Sumangala Thera, today.
Chief Minister of the Central Province Sarath Ekanayake called on the Chief Prelate of the Malbata chapter today, subsequent to paying homage to the sacred tooth relic. Both chief ministers spoke to the media following their meetings with the Chief Prelate.
අපි අපේ යුතුයකම ඉෂ්ට කරනකොට ඡන්දයේදී මන අපේ පක්ෂය වෙනුවෙන් තරඟ කරන්නට ඇති. හැබැයි යුතුයකම ඉෂ්ට කිරීමේදී
During the polls, we may have contested for the party and for votes, but when we are fulfilling our responsibilities to the public, we have no right to treat anyone differently. At a time when everyone is working to make Sri Lanka the wonder of Asia, according to the Mahinda Chintanya, we will commence the task of making the central province the wonder of the country.
පළාත රටේ ආශ්චර්ය බවට පත් කරන ඒ දැවැන්ත කාර්යභාරය අපි අදින් ආරම්භනවා.
අනාගතේ අපිට කියන්න තියෙන්නේ වයම පළාත තුළ අති දැවැන්ත සම්වර්ධනයක්.
What we have to say is, we expect to continue with the development program that was commenced by the President within the northwestern province and the villages, so that everyone will benefit from it. We also hope to join with all councillors in the northwestern province, regardless of political affiliations, in our drive to develop the province.
ලුම කණ්ඩායම එකතු කරගෙන වයම් පළාතට මේ සම්වර්ධනයේ අරුණලු අරගෙන යන්න අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා.
The Chief Minister also commented on the opposition.
මම හිතන්නේ එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂය අද ඇති වෙමින් තිබෙන්නේ තවත් මාස ගණනාවකට අර්බුදයේ උග්‍ර වෙමින් නායකත්වයට එරෙහිව.
I believe the UNP is perishing. The conflicts within the UNP will grow worse in the months to come. The ultimate result will be that we will witness a clash between those who want to retain the leadership and those against it. This is what happens in the UNP always, before and after an election. This is the future of the United National Party. The future of the UNP is very unclear, and therefore we can take great strides forward while Ranil Wickremesinghe remains there.
තවදුරටත් රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මහත්මයාව තියාගෙන අපිට ලොකු ගමනක් ඉදිරියට යන්න පුළුවන්.
The organising committee of a protest march to demand that Ranil Wickremesinghe step down from the UNP leadership says that the march will commence from Devinora tomorrow.
That's right, Stephanie. Now, the Southern Provincial Councillor Maitri Gunaratne, one of the organisers, notes that although the present leadership attempted to employ various schemes to sabotage this protest march, these schemes were unsuccessful.
Provincial councillors, Attorney-at-Law Shira Laktilaka and Attorney-at-Law Maitri Gunaratne, who are organising this protest march, convened a media briefing in Galle today regarding the demonstration.
The protest march will go ahead as planned and will commence tomorrow opposite the Vishnu Devalaya in Devinora. Mangala Samarveera's media unit employed various media to announce that this march is not being held. We wish to inform supporters that the march will go ahead as planned. I wish to note that this march will continue even if I am assassinated. This march is intended to strengthen the opposition in this country. Do not be deceived by Mangala's Montessori media unit. Rally to this march in your thousands to send Ranil Wickremesinghe home.
රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මහත්මයා ගෙදර ඇරලා තමයි අපි මේ වැඩේ නවත්තන්නේ කියන එක ප්‍රකාශ කරන්න කැමතියි.
Meanwhile, following a discussion in Colombo today on the future of the UNP, the Secretary of the Kandy District branch of the United Bhikkhu Front, Venerable Thalpotha Dhammajoti Thera, expressed the following views to the media.
district එක්සත් භික්ෂු පෙරමුණේ ලේකම් හැටියට මම
As a secretary of the Kandy District branch of the United Bhikkhu Front, I wish to make a special announcement that we as United Bhikkhu Front will extend our fullest support to the procession organised by Southern Provincial Councillor Maitri Gunaratne and Western Provincial Councillor Shrila Laktilaka. We will join this procession in the near future.
අපි ඉදිරියේදී ඒ පෙළපාලියට අපි සම්බන්ධ වෙනවා.